Welcome to the Harbor.Church podcast. My name is Katie Rose. I'm here with Pastor Josh, our lead pastor here at Harbor. This week we took a look at the idea of community, of why it matters to have meaningful relationships that are centered around Christ. There's a whole lot to that subject, but we kind of wanted to dig into it a little bit more. What are your thoughts?
Well, big shout out to our next gen pastor, Casey.
Yeah,
man. What a great job kind of breaking down that movie and that message. And I was excited just to get to preach something that I didn't write, but got to kind of come along what it was that God put on his heart. And community is something we talk about a lot here, and the goal to see people get connected and to find community. And it's a big deal. I thought we should talk about it, and I'm glad that we are, because not only in the message, but even now on the podcast, it's something that I just don't think people understand. They know, I'm supposed to be in community, I'm supposed to have relationships, but I don't know that they get why. And I definitely don't think that the average person gets how. Like, how am I supposed to do it? And like, what does that look like? So I'm glad that we're using this opportunity, this medium here to kind of dig in a little bit.
Agreed. I think it's easy to say you should have friends.
Yeah.
It's another thing to find them and really cultivate those relationships. So, So what does that look like?
Well, I thought what we could do today in honor of the Paris Olympics going on right now, in the middle of all that's happening, is like
gymnastics routine.
Yes. I was watching swimming. They were tearing it up. That was so cool. I was thinking, why don't we just tier it? People seem to get that, the bronze, the silver, the gold, they're all good. And if you can win any medal, man, that's stinking awesome.
Sure.
But if we were to look at these relationships and say, hey, what's three things that we could do? Let's just tier them and kind of between you and I, look at the bronze version, the silver version, and the gold version of community and what it looks like to have these kind of relationships.
Okay.
So where do you want to start?
Let's start at the start. How do I actually begin to engage in real friendships?
Big introvert question, right?
Yes.
I just don't know how. I want friends. I just don't know how to get the ball rolling. I don't know how to get out of my shell. I don't know how to start talking. I think the bronze version of that, and here's an easy one for everybody that's listening or watching. Look for some common interests. That is, to me, maybe one of the easiest ways to break the ice. Just look for common ground. When I was a youth pastor, I would look and be like, is this kid into video games? Is this kid into skateboarding? Is this kid into sports or into drama? Just looking for something that like I might be able to connect with you on. Sometimes it's as simple as like, hey, what town do you live in? Okay, I live there or have a friend that lives there. What shows are you watching right now? Whatever. If you look, and you might be like, well, I tried it and I'm into music and they're into sports. Okay, well, maybe it's not a hobbies thing. Then maybe it's where you've grown up or restaurants you like. Heck, man, do you like pizza? Who doesn't freaking like pizza? What's your favorite pizza place? You can find common interests if you're willing to kind of engage. So I would say that's bronze level.
Yeah.
What do you think would be number two? If that's bronze, what would be the silver level version of engaging?
Yeah, I think silver level would be not letting it stop at one interaction, but being intentional about creating a next step. So we have a conversation about pizza. Cool. That's not a friendship. I chatted with you one time. Right. However, I can say, oh, you like Paul's Pizza in Falmouth? Do you want to go? Like next week? You free next Tuesday? Let's go freaking do something.
Yeah. Actually put something as an option instead of just
be the one to reach out and be like, hey, do you want to actually hang out in a planned, intentional way and spend more time together?
I think so many times an introvert or somebody, or not even an introvert, they'll just get out that first part like, oh, okay, cool. We have common interests. Yeah. And then it just kind of hangs there.
Yeah.
Big gulps, huh?
Yeah.
Well.
Yes. Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be maybe going out alone is too much too soon for someone you've just met, but like get their number and send them a text. Like, hey,
perfect.
How's your day? Or, hey, I watched this show that we talked about last week. This episode was sick. Just some kind of next step follow up
to
maintain
circle
connection.
Back. Yeah,
exactly.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
How about the gold? Let's talk
about the gold. I think the gold thing for being engaging, and to me, this is perfect. Somebody told me this once, and they're like, Josh, before you give your opinion, always ask a question. And I think the gold level of engagement is to become a question asker. You can be shy, you can be an idiot, you can be Well, you could have all these things going against you. If you just ask somebody about themselves, you've given them the easiest way. Don't ask them your hardest math question. When I say ask questions, I'm not saying like come up with some
quiz.
Crazy quiz out there. You're not trying to stump them.
Right.
Ask them anything about themselves. And that is a great way at a party or just sitting around. That's a great way just to get somebody to open up because they can't get it wrong. Like, what do you do? What do you like? Where are you from? What, where did you grow up? Do you have family? Anything about themselves. People like to talk about themselves because that's the one area they are truly an expert.
Yeah. And it's, especially if you're like super introverted or a little bit anxious socially, you can come prepared. Like, nobody knows that you thought about this ahead of time.
Yes.
You have to come off like a big weirdo, but like, think about it. Like, what are some good questions to have in my back pocket at all times when I find myself in the lobby at church or at work or standing in line at Dunkin' and I want to talk to this person and I don't know what to do? I have a Rolodex personally all the time that I run through that I'm like, okay, feeling weird, what's something I can ask? And I just have them in my brain at all times to lean on so I'm not stuck panicking and looking weird and sweating and then running away and never making any friends.
Yeah, I think some people are hearing us say this and they're thinking, just ask somebody, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, or like, how are you?
Yeah.
Dead end.
Yep. But like, man, I see your hat. What is that? What's this Harbor thing you're wearing? Or, like, oh, we're meeting at work. How long have you worked here? How long, or how did you meet so-and-so? We have a common friend.
What was the best part of your week? So open-ended, so easy.
Yeah, what do you think about whatever's happening? Yes. It gives them a chance to not be wrong and still start engaging. Yeah, Absolutely. That's huge. That's gold level right there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this though. Okay, let's shift gears. If you were to look at like a 3-tiered answer for evaluating a relationship that you're already in, like we know we're supposed to have community. We know we're supposed to have healthy relationships, healthy friendships. But I think some of the people listening don't know if they have good ones or not. They're like, yeah, I mean, I've known this person since high school, or this is my cousin. These are relationships I've had, but does that mean that they're good? Does that mean that they're healthy? Does that mean I should continue in this, or should I be worried? Or is there something to work on? Let me ask you it this way. Could you give me, let's do the bronze, silver, gold thing. Yeah. And what a healthy relationship should have. Like, what would a healthy friendship contain?
Yeah. So bronze, I would say, a willingness to be inconvenienced. I think a lot of people go into friendship thinking that this should just be easy and casual and I'm going to get everything I want out of it. The end. But you've got to be willing to invest and be inconvenienced and put in time or run an errand or have a conversation you don't want to have.
Yeah, a real friendship's going to cost you
something.
Time, energy, something. And if it costing you something means you don't do it, then that's not really a good friendship.
Yeah, not really being a friend.
If my friendship has inconvenienced you so much because it took time, then maybe we're not as good as we think we are.
Yeah.
I mean, that hurts, but that's a great evaluator. That's cool.
How about silver?
I think on silver, it would be that I think healthy relationships, especially friendships, have to be balanced. So something we talk about here a lot is that there's this triangle of healthy relationships where you are equally known, you're equally loved, and you're equally challenged.
Yeah.
And that's healthy. It's healthy to be known. I want to know about you. I want to actually know who you are, but then to be loved, that means to have a value placed on you and to want to put you out ahead of myself, but then also to be challenged. And I think a lot of people think that if a relationship is challenging, then it can't be loving. And I would say it's just the opposite. If you never get challenged, then you don't actually love me. And I use this illustration, be a good enough friend to tell me I got spinach in my teeth.
Right.
Or a booger in my nose, or my flies down. Right. Like, that hurts my feelings, and that I'm kind of embarrassed. But you've given me an opportunity to improve before this thing makes me worse.
Right.
And so challenge me to hey man, be a little bit kinder to your brother. Be a little bit, more patient with your kids or whatever. Or I've noticed you have been really slow on getting back on texts. I don't want you to get a reputation in your work that you're non-responsive. Yeah. I think you got to realize you got to be a little bit faster. Okay, that hurts my feelings coming from my friend, but it also is a good challenge for me to go, you know me enough and you love me enough that you're challenging me. So the balance, I think, has to be all three.
And I'd
of those
rather
things.
hear that than not and continue in my ignorance.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I think same on that balance idea is a balance of having fun and being able to be serious, right? A valuable relationship should be a good time. You should enjoy each other, but also be able to get real.
Yeah.
And have an honest conversation about things that are not so easy to talk about.
Well, let's round it out.
Yeah, I think that leans right into that.
Yeah, that's got to be the goal, right?
Level, which is vulnerability, right? Being able to truly be raw and
Great point.
real with that person, to have those hard conversations, to be challenged, to trust them enough to show them the parts of yourself that maybe aren't the prettiest, and for them to trust you enough to be the same. And that's got to go both ways.
Yeah. What if I show you something that is so gross to you, or so like you're like, oh, I'm so disappointed, right? Like in my mind, Katie's not going to be my friend anymore because she found out this horrible thing about me. Well, that is saying that our friendship isn't at the level that it could be at.
Yeah.
And granted, what you're not advocating for is for somebody to go tell all of their issues and all their garbage to everybody.
No. You've got to build up to that. Yes.
But that's a healthy sign. I think gold level friends are the ones that like they know you. There's trust that's built. There's vulnerability, because, and I love what Casey said in his message. You're never fully loved until you're fully known. Yes. So if you're not letting people really get to know you, then they're not really loving the real you. So you hiding all your scars, hiding all your dirty laundry that's you putting out a fake version of yourself.
Right.
And then you're never going to really feel like somebody loves the true you, because, you haven't been truly honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is easier said than done for most of us. It's
heck yeah.
hard place to get to.
Heck yeah.
What about all of this in terms of more of so we've been talking about individual relationships, friendships. What about at like a team level? I think there's in the workplace or serving at church. How do we find or create a unity among a group of people if we're not getting it?
Yeah, and I love the line, it's not uniformity.
Yeah.
It's unity. We don't all have to look alike, but we all need to be together. I think, really quickly, you and I talked about this, and we can make this one a little bit quicker. The bronze level was, the time together. The silver level was the fact that they have to know that the boss cares, that the leadership cares.
Yes.
And then the gold level, and I think this is where I think a lot of us miss out, is that there has to be clarity on like, what is it that we're going for? What's the vision that we're going for? What's what's the mission that we're trying to accomplish? There is never going to be unity if we don't know what the win is.
Right. If you're not rowing in the same direction.
Yeah, of course that's frustrating. Who wants to go to work and row in the opposite direction of your teammates?
It sucks.
And then at the end of the day, go home and go like, I really got nothing done. Mm-hmm. There was no win here at work. There was no win here at the team. So whether you're leading a church ministry team as a volunteer, or you've got a sales team at work, or you're talking about your family, right? And like, hey, what is it that we're on mission for? What is the goal here? What is the win today? And how can I contribute? Because what you want and what I want is at the end of the day, I want to know that I made a difference. I want to know that like I was able to accomplish something. So cast some vision, get everybody together, let them know that like, hey, you care about them and what they do matters, but then give them a chance to know like, hey, this is the win. I think that's the bronze, and then the silver, and then the big time gold is like, hey, we are in on it.
Yeah, that's good. And the more you're able to express that expectation and be on the same page, the more those hard conversations aren't so hard, because you've already discussed the fact this is where we're heading. So when one of us gets off course, it's just revisiting a common goal that we've already established. I'm not coming out of left field. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? It's like, hey, remember this is where we're heading. It feels like you're taking a turn. Let's get back on the same page.
And that doesn't hurt my feelings if I feel like that's all of us. If I'm being singled out, then yeah. But that's where unity comes in the middle of all this. And I think a lot of people are just afraid to do it or don't know how to do that. And that's where we're missing out. So it's good reminders. Good reminders. I think a lot of us, our families would be healthier and our workplaces would be healthier if we did that.
Yeah, for sure.
So good talk, man. I'm glad we got to cover this. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.